And I actually, one of the school people were asking, where are your lives with Violetta? Like, you don't do those anymore. And I was just thinking about it. I was like, oh yeah, we haven't done one in a while. But I think it's mostly because she's been so busy. You know, don't forget Violetta's mom. She has a little baby, and also
Mhm.
she's a housewife too. And she just bought another property, and we're gonna talk about it today.
Yeah, I've been so busy because my daughter turned 2, so then I was coordinating. She turned 2 on the 21st, so then I was coordinating like that with like my in-laws coming in, and then my parents and all that. So throwing her a little tiny birthday party because we just moved here, so I don't know anybody, so no kids or nothing. So I was like, oh, we'll just do something with us. And then I'm also going to school, and of course it's like midterm time, so then I had some like things to do, and then I got to study and for Monday's exam and all that stuff. So I've just been busy, and then trying to close on this property. Like I feel like I don't even remember when I put an offer in this house. Like I feel like it was like 40 days ago, and it's been a process. I think was one of the most annoying closings, just because like I just didn't like the title company. I They just kind of were like slacking, and just I think it was just needlessly long. And then the seller had some issues too, like providing documents and stuff. So that just kind of prolonged. So like the seller that was dragging feet, and then the title company and the closing was kind of like uh just a lot of lack of communication. Like on the 25th, I didn't even know I was closing for sure because no, like they hadn't even called me, or no me habían dicho nada. Like they haven't even like text me, no email, like, hey, here's your closing time and date or whatever. It's like I'm waiting and waiting, and I asked several times, like, hey, like, are we closing or not? And then it was funny because like I would get an email saying like, oh, we're not, closing yet or whatever. And then I'd get an email from like the lender, congratulations on closing, clear to close. And so there was like some miscommunication from there because I'd get an email and I was like, so am I closing or not? Like, because
Mhm.
sometimes they'll be like, well, we need they wanted some extra statements because they wanted to see where like the funds, because I had to move some funds over, and they're like, well, we need the statements or that whatever, because the lender's asking. But then the lender would be like, oh, clear to close, we're good. And I was like, what? so so a lot of yeah, miscommunication and stuff even till the last day. And the closing itself, again, I didn't even get told like where to go, what, not even the wiring information, or like not even like the amount I was supposed to wire, right? So I got that information like at 3 p.m., which is like after I could wire anything. And so I was like, what? And then the mobile notary called me. It's like, yeah, ready to meet. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I haven't even been told anything. And he's like, oh, darn. And it's like, well, and for some reason, they got a mobile notary that lives northeast of the city, in San Antonio is big, and then I'm like south, and so for both of us was like an hour away to meet, and then we met at a McDonald's. I don't know if you've seen the my reel lately, and yeah, I got to close at a McDonald's because that was kind of like the halfway point. So one of the interesting, well, yeah, I guess the most interesting um place so far of where I've closed on a rental property. So just a lot of logistics, and then like yeah, and then after closing, I closed on the 25th, signed. A few days after that, they were still working on the insurance because it was missing one letter for West, and the lender wanted it to be exactly West, which yeah, I get it, but um why wasn't this caught way before? Why is it like, the sellers waiting for their funding to be released because the lender didn't want to release the funds until that got fixed? And so then we're all scrambling on a Friday, And I think that got fixed like at 3 p.m. on a Friday. So like, um, and I think we're good now though. So as far as I know, I sent my wire information. I got everything taken care of, my insurance and all of that. So hopefully the lender released the funds on time for the seller. And then I think the last things I have to do as far as closing is just coordinating with the seller to get the security deposits and the prorated rent. So that's the last bit with the seller. So still working on that.
So how did you feel during this closing? I feel like on the past, because I only done closing for out of state, right? Like I did for my primary residence. It's not the same. Now you're gonna have to be landlord. You're moving from to self-managing, and this one is like right here. Is it close to your house? I'm not sure if it's like
It's
really
about 45 minutes away.
45 minutes away.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a I will say it was kind of like had some nerves, a little bit of fear that as closing was around the corner, I started like stressing out because I don't have the cushion of a property manager this time. It's like all me. And so I'm like, oh man, I need to create my checklist of what I need to get done and stuff. Cause I usually the property manager does all of that for me. And I just get the email like, hey, we need to get this fixed, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, go do it. And then now I'm like, okay, so contacting the tenants, so getting their contact information. And so my husband and I are gonna tag team because I'm good with the logistics and I'm good with the finances and stuff like that, but I'm not good with the people part, right? Because I don't like confrontation and then I feel bad and blah blah blah. But my husband is really good with people. Like they just like him. Like they just he's really good. I every time I hear him with a meeting and stuff like that, he just has a really likable personality, but he could also be firm and and be strict when needed, and he's not afraid of confrontation. So I think that's a good team, and so that's gonna be interesting as we manage this first property together. So he's already contacted the tenants and kind of just did a brief introduction like, hey, we're the new landlords and blah blah blah. And so and then today he's going to go stop by and just kind of go and create a checklist, a list of things that still need to get done. And then from there we'll prioritize safety first, because one of the things that this property has is missing handrails, which is a big safety issue. It's a big liability issue if they fall. And then the porches, they need the stairs need to be fixed, and just because they're kind of like slanted and like just they're just old, right? So just fixing that, which my husband can do. And so yeah, he's gonna stop by and create a to-do list.
You're putting your hard hat back on, your quality control experience, and you're gonna be supervising, which is funny because you would think like you guys are a team, right? But you would think he's more like into the logistics part of it, and you're like the people person, but it's completely backwards.
Yeah, yeah, I am not good with the managing of people, which is one of the things that, like, yeah, the field that I went to, which was safety and stuff. Like I get to be just a little nerd and a little cubicle, like, oh, typing away my reports. And yeah, I would go and do inspections, which I did like doing the inspections, but again, I had to deal with people, and sometimes I had to be a little bit firm because they were not doing what they were supposed to do or whatever. So I didn't like that part, but I did like to be the nerd and stuff. So so yeah, I still get to be, because I was like, oh, I'm not gonna be in my field anymore doing safety stuff and everything, but I get to still use that now as managing these rental properties. So yeah, I'm like, make sure that we're, one of the things I'm gonna do is like make sure the codes for, how high the rail can be, the spacing and all that stuff. So like the degree of the angle of the stairs, like all of that, because I'm not trying to get written up or anything like that of liability for me. So yeah, definitely a lot of stuff. Um, still using that knowledge.
Yeah, I think Mark just interview somebody on their lives about I forgot his name. I'm so sorry. But he manages out of state as well. He manages townhouses and he has a very systematized way of like moving in, you know. I know you inherited tenants and you plan to keep them and all of that, but like from moving forward, like systems of like having everything else, all of the checklists and also what are the emails they send the tenants when they move in, what are the things, expectations that they have to have, and all those things. So, or how to acquire keys and things like that, because he has like most of his stuff is remote. But
Hmm.
I know you're there. And any software you want to use, you plan to use for this particular house?
So I have two. I'm gonna try the Rent Ready. Um, been playing around with that, and so far, I like kind of like the dashboard and stuff like that. So that's something that I'm gonna look at and use and see how it works. Just seeing all the logistics look good. The only thing is, well, here I get to do the maintenance, so I'll be playing around with that. So I'll definitely want to go look at the video, that the interview, because one of the things that I'm concerned about, because if this goes well and I have all the systems and everything like that, one thing is to then um, onboard my out of state properties and manage them myself versus the property manager. But the only thing that is the like holding me back is the idea of like the maintenance of the like scheduled maintenance. Okay, I could find that one, but like the emergencies, because I know last year I had emergencies. I had Milwaukee had like a 500-year or 1,000-year flood. It was like out of the norm. So then had to scramble for that. So that's an emergency. And then also they had a lot of snow and all of that, this year. So just kind of the logistics on that. Everything else, just find a contractor or whatever. So, but I'm just kind of worried, like, how am I going to handle emergency situations? Um, so I think that's the only roadblock for that. And then here, like I said, so I don't know if like Rent Ready has something like that for like emergencies, or if I just find like a contractor that I could have for emergencies there. So that's still, I'm figuring that out with Rent Ready. The other thing I am using is Baselane, which
Mhm.
is just a banking. And one reason I use that one is because I like that you're able to create like buckets, and it could be for the property, and then also you have like your capex. So it created off the bat like 5 buckets, one for like operating, so I could pay like the rent and use it to go like to Home Depot or whatever. Then it has an account, a savings account for capex, a savings account for acquiring new property, so that's one, and then for vacancies and stuff like that. So you could create all different types of buckets. So I really like that. And then again, I just started with that one. So, but I've been playing around with it, and it looks like it's going to give some cool reports. You have the ability to collect rent from there, but I kind of want to use Rent Ready for the collection of the rent and all of that. Um, just because I'm testing it out and see how I'm going to like it to manage the other properties. So yeah.
Ooh, the other properties.
I know.
And then
Yeah.
you bought, this is kind of like a duplex, right? It has 2 units, like one on one side, one on the other, but you
Mhm.
have a lot of land to develop
Mhm.
additional lots or additional homes in the back.
Yeah, yeah. So this property, one of the things, even though, so it's a duplex and it's an older property. I think it's from like the 1950s. So it's on one side it's a 2 bedroom, one bath, and one of the bedrooms it was an addition. So I guess at one point was like just a 2 bedroom home, and at some point became a duplex or something. And then the other side is just a 1 bedroom, one bath, which I usually like. All my duplexes are like 2 bedroom, one bath. And but the reason I went for this one, even though it wasn't going to cash flow as much as I usually try to go for, is because it's on a 0.34 acre lot inside the city. And I know San Antonio approved in 2025 the ability to have ADUs in the back. So I'm going to go and try to put. I'm thinking maybe two 1 bedroom, 1 baths. I'm not sure if I just want to go and do just another 2 bedroom, 1 bath, or just split it and make it another duplex in the back. So I haven't gonna see the logistics and all that, but I know you'll it'll be an easier time to be able to do that. So then I'll have basically a fourplex on one lot. So that's the benefits of that. So that's going to be another learning um, curve for me because I've never like built anything like that. So going to be interesting because I also will be learning because I know my sister wants to do a tiny home, and so I'm going to be using the knowledge for those two. So it'll be fun.
Yeah, and thank you, Dylan, to mentioning Jack. Jack that invests in Minnesota. If you haven't checked out Mark's recent, he went live with him yesterday. It
Mhm.
should be at his channel. Yeah, rent credit is solid, but Janelle, she's saying, when possibly inheriting tenants, I tried to meet them during the initial walkthrough. And I think you met them, right? It's
Yes.
just the logistics of like having their contact information and everything that you're now pretty much trying to establish a relationship with them.
Yeah, we were able to, when I was looking at the property, we met them and they were nice and all that. And so they're super ecstatic that somebody's taking over because their the previous owner, like had some, I think he cut corners for sure, especially with the flooring because he used like stick on tile that looks like the LVP, and so that it was already coming apart in the kitchen and in the living room. So that's definitely one thing that we'll be taking care of. Like again, the porches, like I don't know how he wasn't scared of like that's one of the things. Maybe it's the safety in me that like I'm scared of all the liability. That as soon as I see that, I was like, oh my god, I could get sued, right? But this previous owner, I guess, didn't care about that because he had like holes in the wall, which I had him repair, and then a broken window and stuff like that. And I don't think that he even had locks because so these two tenants from the units, they actually know each other. They actually like lived in I guess from their story, they lived in like an apartment area before. So then one of them moved to this one, and then the unit came available, and then the other person came. So they know each other, and they kind of like covered down for each other. And so one of the things I noticed, like if I needed to go to the other unit when I was doing the walkthrough, um, they just went in there. It's like okay, and they had mentioned like the logs because I asked for logs and stuff, and I don't know how that works, but I'm just gonna change the logs anyways um, for them and fix a little bit. But yeah, there's a lot of safety things that I need to take care of first. They're excited. They're like, my husband talked to them briefly, and they're like, yeah, we're super excited because like the porch is dangerous. So
Yeah. And if you look at our YouTube title today, it's like Reverse investors and snakes, and not figuratively as snakes. Actual, literally, it's snakes. And if you haven't noticed, Violetta lives in San Antonio, like the South Park. That's a pretty remote part. She has neighbors and stuff, but she was sending me videos of what like a snake, and I thought initially when I was like looking at videos, oh, it's like a little snake in the backyard, like I live in the city, so I don't see snakes only when I go hike. But I'm like,
Mhm.
I'm thinking this like little itty bitty snake. But she tells me today it's a 5 foot long snake that she caught in her backyard.
Yeah. So I bought some 10 acres, which over here down south of San Antonio. And yeah, I put a manufactured home on it, and I'm gonna homestead and all that. And so that's what I'm doing. I'm figuring out how to. I'm gonna be like house hacking it too, because obviously I'm gonna have like home office and all that. But yeah, so it's pretty rural. So there's a lot of mesquite trees and nopales, so a lot of cactus up over here. So I'm excited of that because I like you could eat cactus if for those that didn't know, we like Mexican culture, we eat nopales, and also the fruit, which is the prickly pear, prickly pear fruit, I think in English. So excited for that, but I am going to have to clear some of that because there's a lot of it too close to the house. And the other day I was in school, and then my husband sent me a video of a 5 foot diamondback rattlesnake that was in our backyard. And so, yeah, he ended up, he had to kill it because it was too close. That's where, like, by the yard where my daughter plays, and it's a pretty big snake. And my neighbors, we have little text group going on, and I found it curious that they were like knocking down a lot of the trees and shrubs and stuff. And when I text them, they were like, yes, because we're worried about snakes. And we're like, okay, right. And I think that was kind of because I'm also from the city. I'm from Dallas, and so like I didn't see snakes besides like little tiny garden snakes here and there. And
Mhm.
so I was kind of like, okay, I think you're exaggerating, whatever. But no, then a day or two later, big giant rattlesnake in in our backyard. So he he shot at it and killed it. And
Can't say that on YouTube.
we oh you can't, well, he took care of it strategically. And we were, because I know you could cook it and make stuff with it, like, just fry it up. And but my husband didn't really preserve it right away, so I was kind of like sketched out of like, nah, maybe if we do it again, if next time, maybe we'll try cooking it. But we did get the skin, and we're gonna dry it out. We're drying it out right now, and the rattle, so make a keychain out of that maybe. And then from the skin, I don't know, maybe a wallet or something. So yeah, sorry for those that like wildlife. I do like wildlife, and I am a tree hugger. So but I mean, sometimes it is what it is. And I just didn't want to um it all go to waste. We sent back um the rest of the snake for the vultures. So at least, we gave it back. So
It goes back to the ecosystem. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
It was interesting too. I was like, oh, what the heck is going on? And then she sends me the video of like the skin, and I was just like, wait, that is not a small snake. And then it tells me it was a big snake. It was
Yeah,
kind
it was a pretty large snake. I um yeah, I looked it up, and it says like in the rural areas they get like 5 to 6 feet long. And it's funny because at school they do have signs that says watch out for rattlesnakes, and I was like, okay. And then so now it's like this happens, and then now in my rental property, now I'm curious that if that's going to happen, especially since it's a larger lot, and I could see where maybe some snakes might hide. So I'm probably gonna have to take care of that too, which brings us back to investing, like double check wildlife when you buy these rental properties as well.
make sure. Yeah, I mean, I feel like we stopped the chat with the snake talk. Just
Yeah, I don't know.
You're like,
Yeah,
oh,
they're like, oh, we don't want to hear about snakes. Yeah.
no, no. Okay, yeah. I also I've been busy, but not in a real estate sense. I was trying to do a cash out refi of my property that I have, in which I like rehab a little bit, not a little bit, quite a lot when I bought it. And if everybody knows, like the interest rates have gone up since started like a month ago, the cash out refi. But not also did I'm running into the interest rates. I also run into like the lowest appraisal that I had for the first time since I started investing. So in my head, the property was gonna ARB of like 130,000, but the first appraisal came back at 115. And during, when you look at the appraisals, you look at the comps and everything. Like my property is a 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom, and all the comps were like 3 bedroom, 1 bath. And so I was just like, wait, are you not even counting the additional bathroom? Even though, like, I felt like I was ARBing conservatively, and
Mhm.
I guess they they declined to like revisit the appraisal. So I went to another lender and then tried to do a different DSCR loan because it's a DSCR cash out, and the appraisal came back again at 110,000, but the comps are still pretty much 3 bedroom, 1 bathroom. So I'm like, I don't know what's going on. But anyways, I'm gonna go with the initial lender, but the time I moved to the other lender, I had not secured the rate for the original lender. So now
Mm,
I'm looking at to doing higher interest rates, which I think is like 6.7 or something like that, which it still
mm,
works out for me. But I just want to. I was just like, is this the universe telling me that I shouldn't cash out refi right now? Because it is a DSCR and it does have a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So
mm,
I don't know. I'm getting pushback from this discrepancy. So I'm thinking maybe I should just wait.
mm. Yeah, that's a you gotta figure it out because it might just go up. Like, I don't know. I did the same thing where I didn't like lock in the rate, and I was like, dang, wait, I should have locked it in when it dropped to like under 6%, but I didn't lock it. And so I ended up with 6.875, which I did the calculations at 7% anyways. So I still, I guess, came out winning on top anyways. But yeah, I mean, I guess it just depends how much you're going to get out. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking about it. I don't really have the pressure of cash. Like, I wanted to cash out to pay my HELOC, but I'm like, it's basically the same, you know? But
mm,
so we're going to be, well, I'm going to be in the same boat either way. So I was just like, maybe I should just let it, because the original plan was to put the money there and leave it there in the house. So
mhm.
now I'm like, maybe I'm just forcing it to get it out.
Yeah, if you're gonna end up in the same spot where like, yeah, you pay off the HELOC, but then you get another like same percentage anyways, then it's probably just like headaches and paperwork
Yeah.
that you don't need to get done. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I think if it was me, I probably would. If my HELOC was the same, then I would just be like, it's not worth my time right now. It's
Yeah.
not
So
significant enough for the time that you're gonna spend.
yeah, I'm
Um,
waiting for another hump to be like, yeah, maybe it's not the cash out refi is not pressing right now. So who knows? This is what I'm dealing with right now, and I'm not supposed to be buying. So, but super keep saying like make. Did you feel like these sellers were more, because you said they were doing repairs for you and everything, right? Did you feel like this transaction was easier as opposed to your other transactions, like in terms of negotiating the price or negotiating the repairs or negotiating closing costs?
uh, it was it was kind of like medium because um, I think the seller was at um expecting a higher sell amount. So then when I dropped them down, it got a little bit more difficult on negotiating like some fixes and things like that. So, but I was able to drop them down from like they had listed at 185 and I dropped them down to 165. So that was a big drop already. And the seller had already been like almost like 200 days.
Mhm.
I think it had been at 200 days. So I already had the advantage there. And so when I came and I was like, it's 165, that's it. Like I'm not negotiating higher. It's like that's the max I'm gonna do. And so then they took it, but then they weren't willing to negotiate like repairs. But then I kind of after the no, not after the appraisal, but after the inspection, then I was like, okay, well, we don't have much repairs, but I'm worried about the appraisal. I was like, so just do the fixes that are going to not make me not appraise, or it's not going to qualify for the DSCR loan because
Mhm.
there was some things like there was a hole through. the siding of the house. I don't know what they were doing there, and some, and then there was exposed wires from the breaker box and stuff like that because they didn't patch the drywall. They like went in there and left the hole there. Like, you have people living in there, so like so, and then some other patchwork. I was like, just patch all these things up so that when the appraiser comes in, like, doesn't give me a hard time that it's not livable or whatever. So I was able to squeeze that because we were already under contract, and so he's already like in there. So I used that to my advantage and was able to get him. And he fixed other things that I didn't even say, like the window. Like, he replaced the window. So I still snuck in some things there, and so I think just the biggest factor was that I was able to drop them so much from their list price. So yeah, and then after that, it was kind of just simple. He still paid some closing costs and stuff, so wasn't too bad. I think, I think what kind of like hindered him was because he still owed some money, and so he didn't want to go way too low because I know he's waiting on the funding to be able to send me back the security deposit and stuff like that. So I don't know like what's going on with him, but like he was going to use that some of that to basically send back to me. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I totally understand. And Stephen has a point. If my HELOC is adjustable, which it is minus 1.025 above prime, it might be good to lock a non-interest rate to avoid potential higher costs later with your HELOC, which is true.
Hmm.
But if you were to calculate, just saying, $30,000 coming back to me versus what I have, like I think 7.5 right now, divided by 12, it's a difference of $187 monthly,
Hmm.
which what my mortgage will go, I think by taking out 30,000, like 250, right?
Hmm.
So if it's a mat number, even if my interest goes up significantly, it will be like equal. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So that's my reasoning. And then just like reading the energy around the universe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe I'll talk to a healer over here in LA or have a meditation with crystals or something.
A
One of my
psychic. Go to a psychic.
talk
Go
to
to
my
a psychic.
one of
Um,
my friends is so LA, and then she's trying to definitely take us to a crystal healer for some meditation. And I was just like, oh my god,
mhm.
being in
I've
LA.
done the sound baths, and those, oh my God,
Those
like
are like those work.
they work. Like, I was so relaxed after, and like yeah, I want to do it again because it was definitely so relaxing. I tried to find on YouTube. It's not the same. It's not the same because you need to feel the vibration.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, but those work.
I want to do puppy yoga.
Puppy yoga.
Yeah,
Oh, you know what? Out here, I bet you I could find some goat yoga
yeah, you
somewhere.
could.
Maybe just like do it.
With
Yeah.
me, goat yoga. You can get a few goats and
Yeah.
have them out in your house.
Yeah, I've been thinking about okay, so because little
We're
sidebar
getting you
because
ideas for like your
I
life
know. No, because I have a problem. I have a problem that I like to start new things
ventures.
when I'm already kind of spread thin. And but I've been kind of playing around with the idea of like starting a business here in this rural area because there's not a lot of stuff down here, but it is growing, and there's like developments. There's a whole new housing development that got updated. There's a lot of things that the this city is doing. They just built a whole, and this is why, because every time I pass through it, I was like, man, I could start a business. What would I start? Because they just did a whole shopping center of
Mm.
like offices and stuff. I was like, so it's empty. So, and it's right off the main street, right in front of the Walmart, right in front of all the main stuff. So it's a lot of traffic that goes there. And so it just got finished. And so they should be opening up for like leasing and all that stuff sometime maybe this summer or something. I haven't checked, but So I've been thinking, and one thing that I've had trouble finding here is like ice cream and snacks, right? And so I've been playing around with the ideas like, what if I open up like an ice cream slash snack shop, like Mexican snack shop? You know what I'm talking about? Like they get like the Tostito Locos, the
Mhm.
corn and cup, all that stuff, and then the ice cream and like maybe the Mexican paletas or whatever, right? Because there's none of that. Like there's nowhere to go get some freaking snacks around here. So when I'm like craving something, I was like, dang, it's like there's only a Dairy Queen and then ice cream at the
You
store.
can have
That's it.
another coffee and Chisme like I did.
Yeah.
With you.
Yeah. Yeah. We only have like one, maybe two coffee shops here. But again, this is growing. There's a lot of plans and stuff, new development and incentives that the thing. The only thing is that now with everything going on, I'm worried about like costs, like, for um like the logistics of it, because
Mhm.
I think it would be a good one to
Mhm.
hear. There's no competition. Like the closest thing that is close to what I'm thinking of is about like 40 minutes away, 45 minutes away.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think it would be a good option, but do I want to take on something else?
Do it
Oh.
when you need the deductions. I was telling my boyfriend when we're like, he's into cars, so he wants to like one day, like what is that called? Ideal life. He wants to have like a car shop where like he
Mhm.
customizes cars and all those things. And I was like, when I'm a multimillionaire and I need my significant other to lose me money monthly in a business, you'll get your like car out of shop.
Mhm.
So
Mhm. Yeah, it's like Um, yeah, I've been thinking about it and it won't go away. Like this thought every time I pass down there, it's like, damn, that's where my ice cream shop would be. And my husband's so tired of hearing me about it. But like now, if I did this business venture, the goal wouldn't be necessarily like to be like super rich, right? Obviously, make an income, but right there, one of the ideas would be, well, the community needs it. It would be another thing for like, 'cause there's not a lot of places for like kids to hang out or whatever, so it would be kind of like a space, something like that. I get all the like the sports kids, after that they go get some ice cream or snacks or whatever, so there's that. But also it would be a way to like employ my parents, something
yeah,
simple, you know
I was
for
thinking
them
that
to
like,
do.
when your parents move out.
So the goal would be like, yes, make some income, but also, um, you know, like have an ability for my parents to also have some income, make some income. So I told them like, I'll hire you on the slow days, because they are old, so they can't keep, and I'll hire like
Yeah, yeah.
some high
Or you
schoolers or
can have
something.
like a Italian lifestyle, which your ice cream shop is only like open 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. or something like that.
hmm Yeah,
Right.
I was thinking that too because like, well, yeah, I would play around with the hours because I don't think anyone's gonna do, at least at the very beginning, as you establish, you know,
We're
the
like
customer
planning.
base. Yeah, I know, like I'm really trying to resist to like really diving into this because it's definitely been on my mind, and each time I'm like, well, I could do this and the hours and stuff, but I just don't. I don't have the capability, especially right now that I'm starting the self management of this property, and now I want to do this. But I do have somebody that I have in mind that I could probably like, you know, uh, have me as a like, well, mentor me as I open this because it's kind of like similar logistics and similar things. I guess category. Uh, but again, now the only thing holding me back is like everything's going more, more expensive. Like, like the products that I want to get, then is it going to be, am I going to be priced out from what this area can afford? Because it is a rural, and with rural areas,
Right.
the income's a little bit lower. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see what
Yeah.
happens.
No, it's nice. Thank you for talking about that because we that wasn't even planned that we are gonna talk about stuff. Yeah. No, That's good. That's good. But if you guys want to keep hearing about us, please don't forget to tune in to our podcast, Real Estate Chisme. We come out every week. It's on Thursday. We have a YouTube video channel, also podcast. So if you can subscribe, leave a comment or like, we are really trying to get the viewership up. And yeah, comment, say hi, or I don't know, hate also. Hate comments, we hate them all. Okay.